What's up, everybody? Welcome to True Southern TV, the Sunday afternoon special. If you followed us during SHOT Show, then you know we had a great time doing live shows every single day. And one of my best friends that I met from there, a couple of them, my BBF and my just BF, Mike Marvin, welcome to the stage, buddy. If y'all saw us on SHOT Show, y'all saw him right alongside me for the whole week doing recaps. And we decided we're going to keep this going. We love the idea of being able to come on live on YouTube here, share what we have to say without really being censored. I mean, at some point, YouTube's probably going to ban us for something. Mainly Mike. It's probably for all the shit that Mike says.
I would say that's probably fairly accurate.
I would say it's incredibly accurate. But that said, really, we just want to have a place where we can come and talk about everything that we wanted to without having to worry about that, whether it's firearms, whether it's just life, whether it's family, friends, drinks. I don't care, whatever it is, but just a place to come and chill and hang out. If you are here, make sure you say hi in the comments. We would love to hear from you. We are watching those. And along the way, if you got questions or comments or anything like that, then please drop those below. Mike, before we get too deep into this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, I do want to...
I'm hoping it's afternoon.
I hope it's afternoon, too. I want to address one thing that is happening today, and I hate to even start a show off like this. It sucks that we have to, but I feel like we owe it to, to all the law enforcement, to all the first responders that are out there. Pretty bad deal going on in Minneapolis today where 3 officers were shot, 2 fatally wounded, and a paramedic as well. They were responding to a domestic call, and kind of the only information we have at the moment is that they were responding to help a family that was in danger. Apparently, there were quite a few shots that came from wherever this happened at. I'm going to assume a residence, but I don't know that. But a lot of stuff happening there. And, Michael, honestly, I'm at a point where it's number one, it's becoming way too common. We had an officer killed here in East Tennessee last week. I still wear a bracelet on my arm from 6 or 7 years. I don't know how long it's been now. It's been a minute since Daniel Baker, a buddy from my department, was executed while he was on duty. And it's just becoming more and more common. And I think as a country, we have to do better, but I don't know what the answer is because bad people are always still going to be bad people.
Yeah, you're never going to stop anyone from doing something that they have in their head that they're going to do. You can try to blame everything else, but no one ever wants to talk about mental health in the United States, and mental health is one of the most serious issues that we have in our country. And
absolutely. And I remember when they first started talking about mental health, it was so interesting because we have such everything is polarized in the United States. I think probably more than anywhere else. I think every topic is a polarizing issue one way or another. And so when all this violence really started ramping up, and you look back to what happened in Minneapolis, what was that? I don't know how long ago that was, but when this first happened in Minneapolis, where things kind of went sideways in that city, that was the big talk of mental health. That was the first thing that came out, and it's one of those things of like, everybody was like, well, let's not use that as an excuse. But the reality is, like, you're right. Let's not be cowards and use it as an excuse if it's just a bad person. But at the same time, you're right. There has to be something done about the mental health in the United States. We're seeing it worse than we've ever seen. And I think a lot of it is due to, and call me crazy here, which is fine. But I think a lot of it comes back down to what the U.S. regulates and allows. And you talk about our food, all of our food across the board that's coming from all these different processors and stuff like that. You talk about the environment that the U.S. has created as far as not just work weeks, but just the weird pressure in the United States to show up and work all day and all night and all that. And there's no, like, family is not come first. Like, all those things that we were kind of taught in the South to begin with no longer kind of exist, I feel like, in the country. And I feel like when you start taking that away, you start just absolutely killing people's mental health.
Well, I think that there's a lot of it is the fact that most people just really have absolutely no respect for human life.
That's right.
I mean, they don't. And unfortunately, until everyone can address it and everyone can work together and try to like fix the issues without blaming something or blaming the other person, we're a nation now of people that like to argue.
Oh my gosh, about everything.
One person doesn't like the other person's opinion, and instead of respecting that opinion and listening to them, they berate you for it. But if you tell them that you don't agree with their opinion, they're completely offended.
Right.
So the most frustrating thing in the world, it's hard to have a conversation with anyone that is so close-minded. like
Well, and
everyone's became unbelievably closed-minded.
yeah, and I think a lot of it is just quick reactions. So, like something that happened on my Facebook page no more than a month ago. One big thing that I hate more than anything is red dye or red 40 that they put in kids stuff, and that's a big deal. Like with our kids, with my oldest kid Corbin, we pulled that from his diet early because we were noticing some things, and it was just something we wanted to try. I didn't really know. I didn't know a lot about it at the time, but I was like, we'll try anything because he's acting like a monster. And it's just this like uncontrollable rage that would happen. And we had no say, and it looked like he had no say over it either. It looked like it was completely almost involuntary. And which was hard for me to accept as someone who was raised like own your actions, right? And so I posted on, we pulled red 40, immediate crazy turnaround in that kid. And honestly, one of the just incredible 11-year-old kid, aside from just doing 11-year-old stuff like wearing his shirts backwards and stuff like that. But I posted on Facebook a month ago and I was like, hey, just a reminder out there for all you parents, if you're having attitude problems, behavioral problems out of your kids, you might want to look at what they're taking in, what they're bringing in their body, because that can be a big deal. And somebody just immediately jumped on me. I was like, cite your sources. This isn't true, da-da-da-da-da, and just kind of jumped all over me. And I was like, whoa, back up, bro. I ain't like forcing you to do it, but also like use that Google a little bit before you just start spouting off at the mouth. Like it don't take much. But everybody, and I'm guilty of this too. Like we're all quick to just jump all over somebody. We're all looking for a fight. I feel like these days because I think we're all feel like somebody's coming after us.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I completely agree with that. And the whole thing is, if it's working for you, then it's working for you. So I don't understand why somebody would sit there and argue when you've seen the actual results.
Right. That's
and
it.
It may not work. It may not work for them. It may not. It may have another issue. Maybe their kid's just a psycho.
Right.
And, they're not going to stop doing it. But
I know a lot of kids that are just psychos.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I have one. And literally, if people are so quick just to start an argument for no reason.
Right.
Even if it's for no reason at all, they'll start an argument just to get in an argument. I don't have the patience for it.
I don't have the time for that. No. I don't understand people that I've got too many things to do than to be sitting around fighting with you all day. I used to get on Facebook or I used to troll. Oh, bro, yeah. You ain't met nobody that's trolled harder than me.
I have a buddy named J Bob that's probably the largest and best internet troll and Facebook troll.
Oh yeah.
Time. Yeah, like he had the cops show up at his house once because
that's amazing. We should have him on the show and just do a whole show of him trolling people.
I think we should, but I mean that probably should be the last.
Let's waste an hour of our time trolling people.
We're totally going to be kicked off following that.
No, I love that. That's good for us. Yeah.
Really have on here
when that happens, we'll just head over to Rumble, I guess. No, but yeah, I don't know, dude. I just think it's one of those deals where we've got to get some stuff under control of this country. I firmly believe, and maybe I'm just getting old, but like I said, one of the big things that kicks I've been on lately, although I'm preaching it well, but I'm not living the life very well, but is just the food that we have in this country and what they allow in the food in our country. In a lot of countries, it's not just ours. It's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that do better than us and a lot that do worse. But man, I think there's a lot to be said for the poisons they're putting in stuff. And I think that can crazily affect people. So anyways, long rant to say, guys, make sure you keep in your thoughts and prayers, all the first responders, families, all that stuff happening in Minneapolis right now. Also in East Tennessee from the officer that was shot and killed this past week. I know there's it seems like it's happening all the time. So make sure you're looking out for the boys in blue, the boys and girls, I should say, in blue and red and yellow and all the different like thin line colors that I can't remember. But anyways, let's
5, 6.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I don't know. Anyways, keep all them in prayers. Let's jump right over right now. You got to attend ShotShow for the very first time in 2024 this past year. In fact, when Jamie reached out to me and said, asked if you could come with me, I was very hesitant at first. I was like, God, I don't know if I'm going to like this guy. I knew nothing about you. Met you the first day at range day. And that was the day that I started drinking Jack. No, I'm just kidding. That was the day I was like, we're going to be buddies.
Yeah, I mean, you probably went on my social media and you're like, man, I don't really know if I'm going to let this guy come along. He kind of seems like an a-hole.
What's funny is James was like, dude, you are going to love each other because because you're both psycho. You're both kind of like schizophrenic, ADD, like just wild dogs running around, and neither one of you are scared to piss people off. And I was like, oh, okay, we're either gonna get in a pissing match or we're gonna be best friends for life. I'm just not sure which.
Yeah, thank God the pissing match didn't happen, because as soon as we got, I mean, it took all of maybe 5 minutes, and we were just right there. Everything seemed to mesh really, really well.
It was great.
Got out
it was
to the
awesome.
range.
I threw you under the bus on day one and threw you on video. You and Curtis, which we're gonna have Curtis on here in a few minutes, I hope. My BBF. But no, tell me about ShotShow. This was your first year at it. For those of you that may be watching, maybe you don't know what ShotShow is. It is the largest like outdoor firearm everything expo. It is massive. I can't remember how much it was, but I mean it's a whole lot of acres of show floor of every company you can imagine in the outdoor industry.
Yes. So first, I mean, I drove there, so I mean that was a lot of fun. I had to drop off some, cornhole.
How long is that drive?
Normally it takes about 29 hours is what.
Yeah, we all make mistakes in life. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that was a total. I mean, I drove to Texas, went down and dropped off cornhole boards.
Oh, that's right. You were doing cornhole stuff.
Yeah. Dropped off boards to him and then made the drive over. But as soon as I got there, I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit of a vacation. Oh yeah, cheers, by the way.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And Cody, I did bring quite Bingo. Sorry, I called him Cody. His name's Bingo. Yeah, I did drink quite a bit of Jack, but not as much as some other people. Charlie.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. We'll never let him down, and I love him to death. But I'll never let him down. Riding shotgun with Charlie just has become one of my good buddies, and he came on. It was a lot of fun. Truly good guy. Go ahead. Sorry, continue.
Oh no! So the first day we got there, I mean, it was nice because we had a way that we didn't have to ride the bus since I did drive. So
right,
as soon as I picked you guys up and we went out there, I mean, it took 5 minutes and we were already making fun of everyone in the vehicle. It was
amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was so good.
And then we got out there.
Most people don't get to go to range day their first time at which you've been to SHOT many, many years ago, but this is your first time in a while. Most people, like their first time at SHOT, don't get to go to range day. My staff usually does, which is pretty cool. What was your thoughts on range day? Which industry day at the range is this deal where you get to go out and just shoot a bunch of guns for free? You get to use other people's ammo.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. There, like I kind of knew what I wanted to see beforehand, just from what being like. What everyone in the industry was talking about, like the 3D printed titanium can. I wanted to see that. I wanted to shoot that. It was kind of a little bit more than what I expected. I think there was just a lot more people than what I thought was going to be there right off the bat. But then when you told me that they kind of opened it up to everyone right up front, that made a lot more sense.
Right. Usually manufacturers or the business side of everything comes later in the afternoon, and media gets the first dibs at 8:30 in the morning. And this year, because of the rain coming in, everybody came in together. So it was there was a lot of people right off the bat, which was it's fine. There's always lines. Look, anytime you're gonna say come shoot ammo for free, like there's gonna be a line, no matter where you're at. And rightfully so. That's because we live in the great United States of America. So I thought range day was cool. But then after range day, you go into, for some people 3, some people 4 days, depending on how long you stay, of walking all day long, like 20,000 steps a day worth of walking.
Oh, it was absolutely insane. And there's so many different areas you can go into. I mean, the main floor, obviously everyone wants to go there. That was, that was cool. I actually enjoyed what we were calling the swap meet down in the basement.
Right.
I thought that was awesome. That's where you had all the up and coming people. I thought that was really cool. That's where we ate lunch every day.
Right.
It was just a little, I didn't expect to be as busy as I was, but it was enjoyable because I was busy. Like you said, the first night we came on, we did the show, had an absolute blast with you guys. And then after just knowing that we were going to continue doing that, we went out and made sure we seen stuff that we could talk about.
Right.
And then we met up with Rob that first night too. So that kind of made it, or the second night, that made it a little bit of a longer night. And it was just a good time. Guns.com's after party was a lot of fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
that's the thing. There's more to ShotShow than just walking around and looking at stuff. And I tell people that all the time. Like, if you've never been to ShotShow, you need to go to ShotShow at least once. Now, it can get repetitive. Like it is very much so. You see a lot of the same things year after year. But you need to go at least once because it is fun to see all the stuff. Now, that said, what was your one takeaway? Like, if there was one product that you loved while you were there, what was it what was that? for you?
I mean, the mongoose, obviously, from that came out, that was absolutely amazing. But someone like a company like the Mac Brothers are out in Idaho. They make suppressors, and they also make custom bolt action guns, and they're really really nice Colt bolt action guns. And their
Nice.
suppressors are really really nice. Very small company. I really was impressed with their their craftsmanship. Basically, I mean, it was just absolutely amazing.
That's awesome, and it's so much fun to find those small companies that are putting all of their energy into creating a great product. We see it with the big companies all the time. In fact, one of the things that I love that I talked about very little, aside from one of the videos I did for them, but at Savage, which is always funny with Savage, man, you always get like this talking about polarizing. Like you always get these extreme haters or these extreme lovers, and there's never like an in between. It's like, yeah, it's a gun. I do videos, and my Savage videos always blow up, and it's because there's half of them are like, oh, I hate Savage, their bolts loose and everything's sticky and it's gross and da da da, and they're just finding things to complain about. When in reality it's just because they don't know how to shoot. Triggered them. Then you have other guys who are like, oh, these are the best guns I've ever had. I am personally a Savage fanboy. Love Savage. I own a lot of different Savage firearms. Never had a real problem outside of their MSR platform in 224 Valkyrie, which I've just swapped the barrel out. We're gonna see if that helps. But all in all, I've had great success with their firearms. Put a lot of animals down with their firearms and love them. But they decided this year they were going to get in the suppressor game like everybody else is. But instead of doing something like buying a gym tech, Smith & Wesson.
Oh yeah.
They decided to do their own thing, and so they went ahead and started their own line of suppressors, which is cool. And they're budget friendly. They're I don't want to say they're going to be as good as if you were to get like a Rugged or something like that, and it's hard to tell until we have them in our hands. But we see big companies doing stuff like that all the time, and that's super cool. But to get down on the bottom level and see some of these companies that just they're putting everything they have into this manufacturing. Like this is their dream that they've set down at the table, and they've got their house up for mortgage to make it happen, or they are eating ramen every night to make sure they can make it happen. Like whatever it is, that's a big deal, man. And I think it's one of the things that is talked about least coming out of ShotShow than anything, because like I said, everybody rushes to the main floor to see all the big companies and da-di-da. They wanted to go see another lever action by Smith & Wesson. Cool.
Lever action, that's what ShotShow was.
That's it. It was a lever action year, and so to get downstairs and see some of that stuff is really neat, and it's always it's my favorite floor once you get down there to see some of the stuff happening there. So
Hollison, they did awesome again.
Yep. As always.
The pistol optic, the thermal pistol optic. I mean, I thought that was cool.
Yep.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they I do love that every year they try something. Like Hollison is very good. I love and honestly filming it at Hollison is if you go back and watch our videos, you'll see like how much fun I have with Hollison, with Adam Lidke. He's one of their brand guys, but he's also a competitive shooter, super good dude. And hopefully we're gonna have him on at some point. But he is just, man, he's so much fun to have on camera. But I love Hollison because, man, they just try stuff. They're like, I don't know, shit. Let's just do this.
They give it a shot. I mean, look at Trigon tried something too. They copied their site essentially. You look at their new site. I mean, they went out and put that circle in there, made the dot. It looks identical, just a little bit bigger, and cost 5 times more.
That's it. And that's what we typically see at ShotShow is you see the same thing at a different price point.
Yep.
And it's funny that we've all categorized ourselves into these weird price points. And I'm like, man, at the end of the day, if it will shoot or turn on, I'm happy with it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's it. That's all I want.
It's the Indian, it's not the arrow. I'm sorry.
That's it. Really you're exactly right. I don't need.
You can either shoot or you can't.
Right. That's exactly right. And we talk about this in optics all the time with a lot of guys, and we're like, oh, but I can see the clarity. And you can. Don't get me wrong. You're going to get into competitive shooting and that kind of stuff, or if you're doing some other unmentionable stuff, then maybe you can tell a difference. But like for 99% of gun owners, it doesn't matter if you have a little bit more or a little less brightness in your optic at night. Like that's not going to affect anything for you. No. You're, the big thing when I'm looking at optic is relief. If you're, that would be the big thing. But beyond that, it's like, come on, guys, like quit blaming everything else because you don't know how to, operate your machine.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally had people sitting here legitimately, law enforcement officers had to give them a class on breaking down their service weapon because they just haven't use it very often.
Right.
It's just they just don't know what they're doing. I mean, and I guarantee they were probably like, "Man, I don't like this rifle," and you're like, "No, it's probably because it's dirty and you just don't know how to clean it."
That's exactly right.
Sorry,
you gotta know your equipment, and you gotta trust your equipment.
Oh,
and
yeah, sure.
and I think it's also important to like go ahead and do your reviews, right? Like go to YouTube and search all the gear that you want to get and see what's coming back on it, and find your unendorsed, unpaid for videos. That's a big deal because there's a lot of companies that pay money for people to go out and talk about their stuff. You'll typically see that because it'll say sponsored on there, so that's important to see. And Bingo nailed it. Lack of training is always the culprit. I know Jamie's a fan of the Bilson. How do you feel about the Bilson there, Mike?
I'm okay. I love, and I hope the guys are listening from out there. I absolutely love the idea of it. I love the fact that they went outside the box.
That's right.
I don't think it's going to change the way that we use it. The charging handle is not going anywhere. I'm sorry.
Right. We're too deep into that right now.
Yeah, until there's a completely new platform that the military and everyone goes to, it's not changing.
Right.
It's not going to.
That's right.
So, I mean, kudos to them. It was awesome. It was fun. It's something that was enjoyable to, basically test, but I couldn't see myself, man, I can't wait to go just put a ton of rounds through this.
Right. I got to have this.
Yeah. It's not going to change my opinion on it. I mean, everything else seemed to shoot fine.
Yeah.
I think they were having a few issues with light strikes, but I mean, it's
going to happen. Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's it. I think that there is potentially some way to use that technology or that innovation they came up with. I just don't think it's where they're at right now. And we talked about that several times. But the big thing is you can't know until you start. And I love that they came out of the gate and they took a swing.
It was awesome. I like I said, I appreciated it.
Right.
I thought it was great, but practicality of it for me,
it doesn't play a part in my world at all, unfortunately. And I hate that. But but if you look to replace a bolt action as that could potentially have a place, some kind of single shot. I do think there's something there because listen, there are dumber products out there than that. Let's be completely honest. We have seen way dumber shit than that. And I won't even call that dumb because they gave it effort and they tried, but we've seen some stupid stuff over the years. It's like, man, what were they thinking? How did we get to this point?
Through their mind when they were wasting money.
Exactly. Which one of their friends is the one that's telling them, no, this is a great idea? That person is not your friend. You should get different friends.
You need to rethink the people that you have in your life.
That's exactly right. That's
exactly what that is.
Yeah. And so the Bilson thing was interesting for sure. Again, just a lot of cool stuff at ShotShow. I always hate leaving ShotShow, coming back because you go so hard for so long and then all of a sudden you leave. And then that's that.
Start getting used to the time difference. Like that was absolutely the hardest part for us was just adjusting to the time difference. That was pretty rough.
Right. Now, coming back home for you, tell me about Creekside Consulting, because there's a lot of stuff you do. You guys do there. I want to know more about that. Tell me about what that is.
So Creekside is something we started a few years ago. I have a background as in the military. Did some weapons instructing, stuff like that. And I own a bunch of property out here. And we were basically asked by a buddy of mine, hey, we want to do a law enforcement appreciation day, which we do a shooting competition. Can we do it at your place? Because I have the facility for it. Like I just had a big, area. So we ended up building a 12-lane pistol range that was 25 yards, bermed it up. It's got a cement pad. It's got full enclosure, all that fun stuff that you need for this range. And then we held the law enforcement appreciation day. And then after that, I was approached by some people going, hey, there's some stuff that you could do that could, help people. So we started doing CPL courses, started doing training. And then we started hosting other instructors, which I enjoy doing them the most. That's one of my favorite things is hosting other instructors because they come out and you get to see and learn from all of them. I don't want to just be only in this one area. So we go from Rob Pincus to Tim Heron. That's the kind of just a broad, scope that we operate under.
Now y'all in Michigan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Michigan, y'all just had some things kind of turned around on you guys over the past week or so, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been approached by a lot of people for more concealed carry classes because now in the state of Michigan, in order to buy a pistol or a rifle or a shotgun, you need to have either a CPL, a FFL, or you have to go down to your local law enforcement and get a permit to purchase, which is
Wow.
absolutely insane to me. But
How do you
law's law.
think? How do you think? Let's start at a base level there because I've got so many problems with this across the board.
Yeah, I do too.
But but I think that's kind of the name of the game everywhere right now.
Oh yeah.
But how do you think the local law enforcement feels about that? Like, imagine local law enforcement all of a sudden, number one, they're not getting paid enough as it is. They're already catching the burn end of every stick all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, the mass public, I would say the loudest mass public tends to disagree or dislike them altogether.
Mhm.
How do you think they feel having this placed in their lap that now every time a citizen wants to buy that doesn't have an FFL or a CPL that they have to,
Well, I mean,
do more paperwork?
yeah, they just got it puts a lot more work on them. I mean, and we were told that you don't necessarily even have to do a NICS check anymore as long as they come with their their purchase permit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still going to do the NICS check because I'm at some point the law is going to change. I want to have some sort of
Right.
paper trail that's coming back going, yeah, hey, look, this is where it went.
It's
But
crazy. And I
it's
don't understand how we've got to
so
this
much work.
point.
So much unnecessary work. I mean, you're already doing your background check. I get that.
Right.
I do the background checks. I know what goes into it. It's not as easy to get, a handgun is what people like to think it is, but it's just a lot more work now. I mean, and more people are going to take concealed carry classes.
And they're not going to
people.
Yeah, and they're not going to stop until, and this is my problem. They're not going to stop until they've made it impossible to get a firearm. And I have so many big problems with that. But we're seeing it also in Virginia right now. The Democrats in the House of Delegates have passed a measure that would ban the sale and ownership of many common semi-automatic rifles. Reading from Firearm News here. Basically, they have passed a bill or a measure, I should say, stating that you can't own basically any rifle that takes a detachable mag, that has any kind of threaded barrel, that has anything. Same thing for pistols. Again, we're looking at caps on magazines as well. But the measure essentially lays everything out. It'll go to the governor's desk here within the next 2 weeks, and hopefully it'll get struck down. But it's like, what? I want to know what they're. I want to know what. How do they sleep at night? Maybe like how do you come before your constituents and think that it's okay to, number one, violate the Second Amendment, violate the Constitution as a whole, but like what audacity they have to be able to come forward and just kind of throw everything at the plate like that and just like, nah, we're just basically going to make it illegal to own firearms. That is terrifying when you start talking about the government is restricting what you can and can't buy.
They're restricting people's rights without even allowing the people to have a say in it. And that's what upset me most about the bill that they passed here in Michigan. It's not like we voted on it. It was a bill they kind of snuck by.
Right.
And our governor obviously was going to sign it.
Right.
He's a superstar.
He's neat. Do you like, are y'all like besties?
No, definitely not. No.
We might play a game later called Say Something Nice, and I'm going to play a video, and whatever it is, you have to say something nice about that video. I think this is going to be a treat. I think this is going to be neat. I don't think you'll hurt anybody's feelings at all. No. But no.
That's the most frustrating and disheartening part is the fact that, like, yeah, we appointed them and people voted them into office, but that's still a law that you change that impacts that many different people just outside of the regular citizen. Now you're impacting the law enforcement because they're already short staffed and now they have to do more work. It's just to me, it was completely nonsense.
It's wild. Speaking of electing someone in, I saw something in the news that straight caught my attention, and I don't. It's wild. Saw it come across Facebook. I was like, surely this isn't real. There was an election in Pakistan for a local seat. One Mr. Raymond, he earned more than 26,000 votes, but later he found out that the tally for his opponent had been reduced without any explanation from 31,000 to 11,000. So he gave his seat up for the second place candidate after he found out there was election fraud. Do
wouldn't have that
you
in the
think
United States.
Biden's going to be next? Like, how does that happen?
You're not. That
Do you think Biden
never
remembers
happen.
he's the president right now?
I know he likes ice cream.
He does love ice cream.
Ice cream. He likes to ride bikes. I mean,
He does. Hey, you know what's funny about Biden? Back when
when
Biden was VP, when Biden was VP, I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite things. Look, I have kids. I think things are cute. Like his ice cream fetish. It was kind of cute when he was a VP. It's like looking at a koala bear at the zoo. I was like, oh man, that's pretty sweet. But never in a million years did I think that koala bear eating ice cream little dude would end up being president. And so that changes everything.
People, that's really awkward too. Like that freaks me out. Like,
yeah,
the only good thing about COVID, he can't sniff ananymore. You got to take that 6 feet. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that
was devastating for him. No
that was done for him more than anybody else.
Yep. When
I love it.
That's why he was like, you know what, we got to get all of the restrictions away. He's like, I can't smell up on somebody inappropriately. Right. Not working for me. I'm the president.
Right. What's funny about the COVID thing and the Biden thing? We've talked. I'm kind of switching gears here a little bit here, but we've been saying, in those of us that have our eyes open, and I will say that there's a lot of patriots that have their eyes open that realize a lot of what's going on. There's a lot more people coming to that side of the field, which is interesting to see now. I think people are finally starting to be like, oh, they're not conspiracies if they come true. And so I think we're starting to see a lot of that. But the one thing that we've been saying, those of us that do kind of watch and know, and I've been saying this since for about a year and a half now, as we've been planning into 23, 24 for business, is 24 is going to be a pretty wild year. And 24 is going to be a pretty wild year because we have an election coming up here in the United States for our president, and obviously that's going to be its own bit of chaos. But we have unfortunately, I think, set a precedent in 2020 that if there can be a lot of things that go bad, it makes it easier for other things to happen, like mail-in ballots, things like that, which is what we saw from COVID, right? Well, it's interesting. We've been talking about this. We've been saying this. It came out today. There was a report, or not today. Today's the first time I saw it, and obviously they've been talking about this. But WHO, the World Health Organization, which is a joke in and of itself, that we even still give them a stage to stand on, but they sent out a dire warning saying that disease X outbreak is a matter of when, not if. And I just think it's ironic that here we are in 2024. We've beat COVID for all intents and purposes. That's all kind of run its course. I know they're still trying to do some different things there, but I think it's ironic that now we're coming into all of this happening, and now we are hearing that there might be another disease right on the
disease
cusp.
X.
Disease X is what they call it. So they have X, Y, and Z. It is a unknown. COVID was a disease X. It means that it's an unknown disease that they expect to have happen. I think that's ironic. I don't know. It's just interesting that we that the World Health Organization can sit back and say, oh, something's going to happen, and we're so sure something's going to happen, we're going to go ahead and give it a preliminary name.
Oh, yeah.
That tells me that you know more than you want the public to know.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's anytime you hear a briefing from the military, they give you 5%.
Right.
And you're just like, oh, okay, well, that seems sketchy. And they're like, yeah, it is sketchy. That's why you only got 5%.
Right.
You don't really want to know the rest.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It seemed to me that they're already trying to vamp. Oh, guess what? Here it comes.
Right.
Before the election.
Right. And I think we're about to see some between the stuff that's happening in the world as a whole. We saw the Navalny's body was found in a jail today, which is one of Putin's greatest enemies, reportedly.
He poisoned him once.
Yeah.
And then he threw him in the gulags, and
yeah. So we're seeing that. We're seeing Russia do what Russia's doing.
Yeah. They're doing Russian things.
They're doing Russian things. Like, what do we expect?
Why are you shocked?
Right. Well, and that was like when my buddy called me the other day when the news came out of what was his name? Was it what was the representative, the senator from Ohio? or I'm sorry, he may have been a state rep out of Ohio, that the whistleblower that sat on the House Intelligence Committee or panel, I should say. Anyways, I can't remember his name, but when he came out and he had a pretty cryptic message saying, "Hey guys, I need Biden to declassify the current threat that we have because I want to because we need to address that." But then he finished it with saying, "But don't worry." I'm going to tell you, as an American, I love it when my government tells me not to worry. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to not worry real quick. Like, cool, hang on, let me not worry.
Yeah, I mean, we were told not to worry about Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out well for us.
Yeah, like we were told to not worry about COVID as long as we took 3 weeks off.
Oh, we're also told not to worry about COVID as long as you wore a mask.
That's right. Wow. Yeah. So anytime the government tells me not to worry, I worry. Like, what a joke. But we soon found out they came forward with all of it, and now it's a pretty big explosion happening in Washington. Again, very polarizing between all the different lawmakers that are sitting on the Hill. But essentially, Russia is trying to build a anti-satellite missile nuclear device, actually, that they can send into space and go pew and knock out all the satellite comms.
It's like a big EMP.
That's it.
Yep.
It's a massive EMP that will take down everything that's up there. Now, I love that the U.S. we're all staying. All of our people are sitting up there saying, "Oh, there's nothing to worry about, guys. Don't be silly. This is not a problem." But then a major general from Germany, their space commander, warns that the nuclear weapon could destroy global commons and nobody would survive. Not meaning that people,
everyone.
Well, it would destroy. I don't think it would be a people problem, but it will. In time, it absolutely will be. That is the first step, and getting people to understand that, like, what we're up against here. There's a lot happening, and an EMP is one of the worst things that can happen, whether it's space or here. But not on our communications, and man, we're talking about number one. That's military communications, reconnaissance efforts. That is a lot of people's internet and that kind of stuff. If we go to the base level, that's civilian communication, that's GPS, that is so many things that are happening, not to mention the economic downfall of that. We're talking trillions and trillions worth of dollars of economic loss. We'll see societies that will absolutely collapse on themselves because of what we lose. So it is absolutely chaos that we live in a world where they think that this is just okay. Like, don't
worry about it. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. No big thing. Not a big deal.
A plane ticket from Putin after you tried to invade his area with your own private army. I mean, who does that? That wasn't exactly the most intelligent decision that guy ever made.
Not even a little bit. No. And I think that my theory has always been, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more as the weeks go on, but I've always said that if I were going to have a negative, if I were going to I'm trying to say this without having YouTube ban us, trying to choose my words selectively. If I were going to go after another country, I would want to do it when they are at their weakest, and I think the U.S. itself has never been at a weaker point. I think we have, and I mean, this is no disrespect to our military at all, but we have a lot of kids coming into military that are worried about TikTok versus what they should actually be doing. I think we have a commander-in-chief who is absolutely off his rocker, who has no spine at all. I think the economy is absolutely terrible right now, no matter what our commander-in-chief says right now. It's a nightmare. And somehow or another, they keep telling us it's okay, and it's not. I mean, and so it's wild. So, like, we are at a we have been perfectly primed for something to go terribly bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 2024. And if I were any other country, I'd be looking at 2024 saying there's no way they're ever going to have someone this spineless sitting in the high chair again.
Nope, got to get him.
Yeah,
you're gonna do it. You're gonna get him.
And I think it's time. So, anyways, that's what we have going on there. You've got that's enough political talk for a second. You've got my BBF there. Is he going to come join us, maybe?
Yes, he
While
is.
y'all do that, guys, don't forget, go ahead and bring him in. Guys, don't forget to go ahead and head over and subscribe and like and do all that kind of stuff. That way we can see all your stuff. I'm going to bring this back down so we can actually see both of you. Get in there. Quit playing with the camera, Curtis. And while he's coming in, we're going to play a fun game with both of you.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go. I've got 3 video files selected. Let's see if it'll let me bring in all 3 to Tom. No, it won't. Let's hope it doesn't just straight play it. Good. All right, there's 1. Here is 2. We're gonna play a game, guys, called Say Something Nice. It's real easy to say all the things about all the people that are idiots in this world. So this one is about seeing this video and say something nice about that person. We'll start kind of easy. Today's theme is animals. By the way, I've themed this for us. Curtis, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, thanks for being here. I'm going to take off our display names so that they don't think that you're Mike, because that's misleading. You don't look like a Mike.
No, I didn't.
No, you don't.
Like
Your voice. I've missed your voice so deeply. Okay, here we go. These are all videos that I found on TikTok. Let's really enjoy the animal-themed version of Say Something Nice. We'll start easy. You both have to say something nice about the people in this video. Let's go.
You got it.
There's always one black sheep.
That's racist.
Yeah, what's I don't know that that's nice.
It wasn't mean though.
Yeah, it wasn't mean. That's fair.
I was stating a fact.
Yeah, okay. Michael, something nice. Would you like to watch it again just so you can fully?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Let Curtis go first.
They're in wool, so they're warm.
Oh, that's fair. They are thinking about staying warm. Okay.
Everybody's special.
Everybody is special. Wow, he used that one right off the front. He will never be able to use that again because you can't repeat your answers. Woo, I'm so happy you used that there because our next one is a lot of fun. Here we go. Giddy up! Get it! Look at that they slow motion that. Ooh, look at that horse's stride. That was good. That's good horse maneuvering right there. That is a real sport called, I don't know, horsing around. I can't remember what they call it. What do you think, guys? Something nice about that fantastic stick horse rider.
They got some decent height for someone lacking melanin.
Well, alrighty then. That's hard to follow.
Curtis bringing his game today. Really showing up Mike here.
It's very impressive how they control that stick between their legs.
You do have a point there.
Touche. Yes. Very, very well done. All right, last one, number 3. Here we go. Say something nice about these fantastic this fantastic video.
I'm going first.
Oh man. Okay, yeah, you're going first.
Oh, it is statue. All right, who's going first, Curtis or Mike?
I got it.
Mike.
That's a beautiful, beautiful video of you, Curtis.
You said something nice, yo.
Damn.
Nice.
No,
I said
you
it was
didn't.
beautiful.
Oh, he said you were beautiful. I thought that was
Bro,
kind.
I've been running since I was like 8.
I don't understand how they even converted that over.
They aged it up and everything.
Look at Cat Williams.
I was going to say the hair's very straight on that person.
Yes,
That's the only thing.
That's the only thing very straight on that person. Let's see. I like some of the ones in the. Let's see what we got in the comments here, because you're welcome to play along in the comments. Tape with the knees and everything. Curtis, perfect response. Jamie said, yeah. I think Curtis, if we're gonna give awards, I'm gonna give a honorary award to Curtis here. He took today's win, made Mike look silly. Good job, Curtis.
He does it often.
All the people are cheering for you. All the people at TikTok.
I appreciate it.
How great is that, Curtis? Tell me everything about what's going on with you right now. You are active duty military, so you can't talk shit about them. So remember that. We're live. Who's the person above you? I'd like their phone number, just to kind of continually have some conversations.
No, because they're no.
You won't share that information with all of us?
No,
I can put it on the ticker on the bottom, Curtis.
I will totally get that for you.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate having my friends.
In the United States Marine Corps.
You're in the United States Marine Corps. What do you do in the United States Marine Corps, Curtis?
I am currently an administrator. I did what's called a lateral move about a decade ago.
Okay.
I became an administrator. I used to do a similar job that Mike and I trained.
Okay.
Seat keeps lowering.
So yeah, you got a baby seat. I thought you were going to get a big boy seat for tonight.
I did, but it's broken. So
he gave you a broken big boy seat.
He did.
That's what you have good friends for. That's a good way to keep the black man down right there, Mike. Good job. Unbelievable.
As long as you say America at the end of it, it's just like when we were in Vegas. As long as you say Vin Diesel, you can cut people off. I swear, I don't care what anyone says.
So administrator, so you're basically, are you like Jim in The Office? Is that what I think? Like you're, you sit at a desk all day and make funny jokes?
Kind of. Yeah.
Hit on the receptionist?
Our jokes are probably a little more hard hitting, a little more dark, but
give us. We'll talk about hard hitting military jokes later.
It's a dude.
It's let's wait till we get kicked off. Y'all were both Marine. Tell me what I thought about this the other day. I saw a video today. I think as a whole, and I'd like you to take this back to your supervisor, Curtis, because I think this is probably going to be good. I saw a video the other day, and it just kind of made me start to think. I don't know if I even still have this video. Let me see if I can find it on Instagram real quick. If so, I'm going to pull this dude up because it's pretty fascinating how this all went down. Oh, I've got it. I don't know which one it is. There's two of them here. Let's try one at a time. Okay, so I was thinking about who we have in the military. Yes, this is it. I was thinking about who we have in the military and how we can strengthen our military. And I think we're kind of doing it all wrong as a whole right now, right? And I think we're trying, but we have a bunch of kids that don't really want to be in the military, but I think y'all have done a good job of tricking them and making them think they want to be in the military. I think that's neat. But I think that we could probably find some dudes that if we maybe let loose a little bit, we could really let them do some fun things. So check this out. It is I
think I know.
I think it's you're not going to have any idea. And I've got the wrong one up. That's okay. We're going to pull it in this tab. Don't look at my Facebook. There's nothing there that I care about. Here it is. Let me pull it up now to stage. Bam. Look at this dude. This bull rider right here starts off by taking a backwards leap and letting the bull kick him into a backflip while he's taking a selfie and then just runs from him. That right there is a dude, man. In all seriousness, I could not be more impressed by that guy. And it got me thinking, why don't we go ahead and bring bull riders into the military and just let them loose, right? We have a bunch of people we're paying for, probably like Curtis, that like are administrators. We don't really know what they do, so like we can just kind of let them go have fun and do other fun military stuff, and we'll let the bull riders just wide open. Like, listen, bro, we're going to drop you off over there. We're going to give you a couple of drivers. They're going to be demolition derby drivers from the South. Them dudes don't care about nothing. Let them bring their own vehicles. Like, look, build your own vehicle, tie a Celica and a Civic together, weld your window shut, and just get rowdy. Put some bigger tires on it. We don't care. You don't even have to wear a helmet. We're not running stuff like that. And just let them go and let the bull riders. Them dudes aren't scared of nothing. Just let them go over there and wreak absolute havoc. People, I would be scared to shit if Germany showed up with a bunch of bull riders on our land. Like, hey guys, guess what? We let bull riders loose with demolition derby drivers. I'm like, oh shit, I'm out.
Yep, no, that's too much for me.
That's too much for me. So
it's too rich. It's too rich for my blood.
What happens when they send in the Marine infantry.
Yeah, I mean that's what makes the Marine Corps fun.
Yeah.
Is literally the saying of no headache because of no brain is actually
it's what quite true. Like it is the unofficial motto.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. David brought up a good point in the comments here. He said we need more exciting. Wait a second. Before we read that, Bingo, I see your comment. Bingo said to get Curtis a phone book to sit on. I think that's a solid plan. So we're gonna order a white page. Can you still get like a thick white pages? Yeah, we're gonna get Curtis a yellow pages to sit on. No, back to David. David said we need more exciting movies showing soldiers doing badass things. Recruitment always skyrockets after blockbuster movies. Anything but the Space Force.
First off,
I should have moved to the Space Force.
yeah, I know.
I should have transferred.
That's where the smart people are.
Yeah.
That's where all the good looking women are.
What's funny? We laugh at them. We laugh at them, but right now they are. We're about to see if they're any good.
Yeah.
Like we're about to see it, and so far I haven't seen it. You know what I've heard so far to this whole Russian anti-missile nuclear trying to kill all the comm sync is that the U.S. preemptively sent 6 satellites, anti-missile satellites, into space that will tell us when a missile has been shot into space, which is pretty cool. But you know who put it all together? It wasn't the Space Force. It was Elon Musk. Is Elon Musk the Space Force?
He is the Space Force.
Oh, well, then that makes more sense.
He designed how to get to space. He's been trying to make it cheaper. So,
and he made the ugliest truck that anyone's ever made in the history of trucks.
That was publicity stunt. I mean, the man.
I mean, you see what Joe Rogan did to that thing? Like, that thing is not. You're gonna have a hard time damaging that.
You're truck. Also gonna have a hard time going anywhere except for concrete.
Well, I mean,
it goes good through concrete and good through a couple inches of water. Those are the 2 things it excels at. They try to take it off-road up some off-road trails and immediately just like, nah, I'm good.
Well, that thing is also so dang heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's got 4 motors, but they're electric motors, and they weren't ready for it then. Motors now for those off-road off-road trucks that they have, like the RF1 or whatever.
Yep.
They do better, but I'm still like, but if I run out of gas, I mean, run out of charge. Like, it's not like you can just carry a can of gas to it. You know,
somebody carry a big old battery pack.
Right. David said that truck was made for Nintendo 64 graphics. I couldn't agree more. That's exactly right. It's the ugliest thing ever. But back to Space Force, like, I think we're about to get to see if they're real or not, because this is the first, I feel like, big public threat that has been in their arena. Now, what they'll do with that, I don't know.
True, but truth be told, Space Force has been heading up the cybersecurity for the DoD.
Oh yeah,
and that's where they spent.
They're excelling at that. They're good at that.
Well, there you go.
Like the security levels, that the improvement in security levels is in direct relation to the advent of the Space Force.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. You know, we're not playing the Say Something Nice game, right? You can say whatever you want. Okay, cool.
We won't talk about their physical capabilities. We'll talk about their technical capabilities all day long.
I just want to, like, their recruitment video should be like the Spaceballs, like Space Force, like
right.
You have Elon Musk with the big helmet on, like Rick Moranis.
Right.
That would be the best.
Oh man, that'd be the best.
Going back to the movie thing, I think that's a good point, because you do see enlistment numbers jump up after you have a big number. I'm curious to see what those look like, and I've never broken down this demographic, but I'm curious to see what those numbers look like pre, I would say, Bin Laden. And the reason I say that is I feel like, we look at the earlier war movies. You always had the heroes, right? That were going to make it. No matter what it was, that they were going to make it through, and it was cool. It was action packed for its time. It was industry leading. But as we look at movies now, I wonder if there's almost an opposite reaction, because you look at like 13 Hours at Benghazi, right? I bet that scared the absolute shit out of some little kids.
Yeah, it's not a happy ending anymore. I mean, look at Lone Survivor with Mark.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I mean, it's not. I mean, and he was messed up so much worse than it was actually in that movie.
Right.
Listen to some of his interviews. I mean, it's insane. Like, that's probably scaring some people away. Like, yeah, so you're gonna put me on a hillside and let me get shot at with 3 other guys? No, that's a pass.
Right. And
like,
also,
I'm gonna play Call of Duty. That's exactly what they're saying.
That's right. That's right. Well, and I think we've seen too, like with information comes knowledge and comes negativity. And so I think with the information portal that we have now of social media and that kind of stuff, and I love that we have awarenesses like the 22 a day deal and all that kind of stuff talking about veteran suicide. But I think that that's probably hurting numbers as well. Like, we are seeing more now than ever how many soldiers are coming out of the military with in a pretty bad mental place. And I can't speak. I wasn't in the military. I've done law enforcement and fire and disaster service stuff, which is no comparison to what you guys do. So I can't speak to it outside of the conversations that I've had. But one thing that I will say is, there's a lot of guys that say that there's no one's looking out for that mental health. But at the same time, how do you get somebody combat ready to face what they're going to have to face while also coddling them? You know what I mean? They don't go hand in hand.
Literally can't.
You can't, and there's a difference. So most of us that served after, we had a reason to fight. We had 9/11. Right. You came here and you poked the bear. There were a lot of us that were angry, and we all went over, we did what we had to, came back. It's just the generation now, they don't remember 9/11.
It's at the point now I'm dealing with guys that are joining
that were born after
2004, 2005, I think.
That weren't here when the towers fell. Yeah. Isn't that wild? Y'all are old as shit.
Well, yeah. That's... Don't let the age fool you. I am a child.
Oh, yeah, me too. That's it. And I think it's just different now. And I don't know that the military has I don't know. From an outside perspective, you guys can speak differently, but I don't feel like we've changed our recruiting efforts to this day and age. And I feel like we're still stuck in 9/11 recruitment when we're not in 9/11 anymore. 9/11, we were talking about. Yeah, 9/11, we're talking about putting boots on the ground, and we're going to go over and we're going to mess these dudes up, right? That was the recruitment effort now. But right now, we're sitting in a world where every day somebody's talking about nuclear war. How do you sell nuclear war to a young kid? Be like, hey, come in and play with us. We're going to go play with nuclears.
Like you said, they have the information nowadays of what the results of nuclear war would actually look like.
Yeah, the internet, and there's so much more information than what there was when we joined.
Right.
The internet was there and stuff, and people used it, but
we didn't have it on our phones.
everything you have is right
literally
there
in the palm of your hand.
So it's the recruiting effort until something happens and it wakes us back up. You're gonna have a hard time.
It's gonna be a struggle.
Yeah, something's got to happen that's gonna make people understand that we're supposed to be one of the best countries in the world because we're good at taking care of everyone and everything. That's kind of what makes America great.
Well, that's also something that we need to address as a society, is stop saying that our country is terrible because of you don't agree with something that happened in the past, looking at it from the lens of today.
That's right.
Because we literally live in the greatest country in the world.
Right.
Yet you want to sit there and complain on your phone with this technology in the greatest country in the world about how terrible it is because you feel that something's not fair. Life's not fair. Get over it.
That's right. Well,
exactly. We're in this society of me, not us.
Right.
Like that's in everyone only cares about their own personal feelings. I'm not going to sit here and say that, I don't obviously care about my own well-being and my personal feelings, but I at least have enough common sense to listen to somebody when they want to talk.
Right.
I may not agree with it, but I'm not going to sit there and belittle them either.
Yeah, that's right.
People don't do that. Like I've literally sat there and talked to somebody before where I listened to everything they had to say. And they said, well, what's your opinion on it? I was like, well, after listening to you, it doesn't matter what I say because you're just going to insult me afterwards. And that's just going to make me want to punch you in the face. And I don't like going to jail. So thank you.
Yeah. Have a good day. I don't need the conversation. Well,
I don't need it that much.
And so I think one of the big questions that's not being asked right now that I'm curious to see what happens. Let's say the next year does go way upside down, and we do it becomes very, very active in a big way, right? And let's hope that doesn't happen, but let's pretend that it does. I don't think, number one, our recruiting efforts can keep up. We've talked about numbers being down in the military across the board, and David said it best. We're looking at retention more than recruitment right now, and I think I've seen a lot of that from where I sit. But also beyond that, At what point do we have to be fearful, and maybe not fearful, but do we have to be aware that the possibility of a draft, like, do you think we'll ever see that again? Do you think we'll ever get to a point to where like we don't have enough to do what we need to do to protect our country?
I don't know if that's the case, but if you kind of look at it, like if we ever did go to a big war right now, like it would be a war of contractors.
Right.
It would cost the military, it would cost the American people 10 times what the last war did, because you're going to have to actually pay people who've been to war to go back and fight.
Right.
Unfortunately, I mean, because our numbers are down so much that you're going to have to, look at Russia. Russia's finding out right now.
Right.
Like,
well,
you're going to have to.
How do we afford that if we're sending all our money to Ukraine?
I plead the fifth.
I mean, it is what it is. But I think there's something to be said about the fact that our military isn't what it used to be, but also we're in a different time, and I have to remind myself of that. And I don't mean that as a negative towards our military. You guys, like, I'll give y'all hell, but like, there's an appreciation level there that's deeper than anything else that I speak to my kids about and everything else. And I think most true Americans do. We understand that we're only here because there's people that are fighting for us. And so that's a big deal. But at the same time, I do feel like because of the generation of kids that are coming up, when we were all kids, we grew up shooting each other with BB guns in the yard. Like, we were trained for war from the moment we were birthed. We were ready to go. Like, mom didn't let me come inside, unless the street light came on.
Especially during like the 4th of July, you start getting
oh god, yeah.
We did so many dumb things, whether it was shooting things at each other, slingshots.
It was whatever you could.
Taking sticks and playing boards,
right.
something combative.
That wasn't always a stick you're using.
But yeah, it's everything. Like, we grew up that way. We grew up trained to be thrown overseas, whether or not we did or not. That's how most of us were raised. That is not how today's generation is raised. Today's generation are raised to be drone operators. You can only have so many drone operators.
Well, that's true, but it's a lot of us. I'll be completely honest, even our generation, we weren't ready to go fight a war. Like, if you would have just pulled most of us out without 9/11 happening, and then we went to war, it would have been completely different outlook.
Yeah, I guess.
It really would have.
I mean, no one fights better than someone that has a reason to fight.
Yeah, and it's why wherever we go to fight, it's the hardest thing in the world is going somewhere else to fight there, because that person's defending their home.
That's right.
I mean, we were defending our home when we went to Afghanistan, and that's what made it so just right off the bat, it was so bad.
Right.
And it's really going to be hard to try to push something or do something like that with the generation, and just any generation, if they don't have a reason to do it. World War II, look, they had a reason to fight. Pearl Harbor. You look at any major war that we've won and we've actually done damage in, it's because there was a reason we did. There's a reason for us to go there. I mean,
right. And I worry that reason's coming again, and I worry that
I do too. That absolutely terrifies me.
Yeah, because it terrifies me. Because again, I just don't think the younger generation is where we were at as a younger generation. No. I don't see the not to say there's not good people out there. I've got some younger family and friends and that kind of stuff that are that were raised like we were raised. Mm-hmm. They were raised to deal with their shit and realize that life is not fair, and you just got to deal with it, right? But we have a lot of kids these days that that play video games, and when mommy doesn't bring her Cheetos at the right time, they're upset. That shit don't fly. And so
the thing is, you'd be surprised on what would happen if something like that happened. And I think we'd be just fine, and it's terrifying because I think it is coming. I think we're going to see something else happen like that, but
right.
I think we'll be just fine. There's still enough senior leadership from the wars that we had, so they would at least know what's going on. We're getting to that gap though, where we're going to start losing people that no longer had any combat experience, and that's what kind of gets scary.
I mean, officially, we're coming up on 22 years since we joined.
Yeah.
So
good God, y'all are old as shit.
Yeah, America.
How are y'all's knees though? Y'all's knees okay or what? Y'all doing?
My knees are still good enough for if we do go back to war soon, they're going to pay me.
Right.
Okay, that's fair. There's enough Tylenol to get through that.
Yeah, you're paying me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change your socks.
Well, that said, let's change it up. Let's look at a lighter side of the military for a second. I'm going to throw you both on the spot. I know stories. I won't make you share any particular stories about anything that you've told me in the past. You can choose to or not. Anything that goes slither in the night. But tell me some of your favorite. Pick a story. Like what's one of your favorite stories as a whole from your experience in the military, whether it was you or something that happened to somebody else that you can share. Please don't put our national security at risk here. But you know, what's something that just like you look back and you're like, man, the days were hard, but that shit right there made it a little easier.
One of my favorite units I was ever in was the unit we had in Savannah. We were all really, really close. So when you're in INI, you're on another military base, and there's only like 18 active duty people. So you're surrounded by reservists and the Army. So it's like the worst possible scenario. Like it's just terrible.
Right.
And you just become really close. It doesn't matter really what your rank is. If you're at a good unit, everyone is all working together. And we had one of the nicer buildings in Savannah. So we would always go out and like PT in the morning. And then every once in a while, they would use our big drill hall for like welcome home ceremonies for Army units. And we would just absolutely just fuck with the Army constantly.
Right.
I mean, they would come in and like we'd be getting ready to like because the bathrooms had like the showers and everything. And after you PT, you obviously don't want to stink. So you're taking a shower. When we know they'd be there, like we would like throw on like Lady Gaga and everyone's like sitting there just getting lathered up, just being completely ridiculous. Just like walking
it's like
around.
A scene from Pitch Perfect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we do stuff like that, like open up the door into the drill hall with nothing but a towel on your head and go, it's chilly. I mean, just with a room full of just people just getting back off of deployment. Like those were some of my favorite times. Like me and my friends from Savannah, we joke about all the time that if we could have stayed together with our unit there, that we all would have stayed in the military for 50 years.
Right.
But then when people start leaving, it just starts changing. But I mean, that was probably any time that we were in Savannah, that was really some of the best memories I've ever had in the military. And that it was just awesome.
That's awesome. Curtis?
Oh,
You better not say anything about Statesboro.
Say everything about Statesboro. Don't let him hold you down. He'd already put you in a tiny chair so he could be taller than you.
Yeah, he did.
It's time to teach the white man a lesson, Curtis.
I look like a freaking munchkin out there.
Yeah. LP, baby.
What?
Oh man, shoot.
You had all that time to think about this. Did you not have any fun times in the military, Curtis?
All of his times were with us. Like all the fun times, they were all in Savannah. They were the same time.
Pretty much. I mean, the worst things I've probably gone through were when I was deployed in Iraq, and what got us through that was the guys that I was with. Some of the few reservists that he actually respects.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
And to be fair, I don't hate all reservists.
I heard you say you hate all reservists.
No, I do not.
I've got it on paper. It's been recorded.
You do, but at the same time,
no. I mean,
I began my career as a reservist.
There's that's kind of like the generational thing. Like we had some people that were only there because they needed college paid for, and you can tell those people. And then you could tell the ones that bought into the Marine Corps.
Right.
Buying into the Marine Corps is not the easiest thing to do.
Right.
That's it. I mean.
So just the camaraderie. I mean, overall.
Really I mean, it really is. I mean, so the new trendy term for it is trauma bonding.
Oh my God, that's what they call that? Trauma bonding?
Oh yeah.
I don't want to hear that word again.
Oh, that's neat.
I'm sure your followers will be able to
hashtag trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding. I feel like I have heard that. What is the influencer's name that is in the Army? It starts with an A. Is it Adam maybe or somebody? He does a ton of stuff and he basically just pokes the bear, dude. But he's God, what? I'll have to look him up. Anyways, man, he is legitimately funny dude that talks about everything in the Army. I feel like he was talking about that the other day. He kind of like screams at himself, and he does his own like different characters. God, I think it's Adam, but I can't remember. Anyway, super funny dude. But I think I've heard him talk about stuff like that. It's a wild world. I think the it's interesting to see how if you went back and talked to the guys that the ones that did survive through Nam, like I feel like they would come out after 9/11 like these guys are weak. You know what I mean? Like there's just always
that all the time.
And
yeah,
that's
it's just different
generational. Is
Yeah.
literally when I go to the VA, like I'll end up sitting there for an hour longer than I should have been there because I'll literally start talking to some dude that was in Vietnam, and those stories are great.
Yeah,
like, I love talking to those guys, and that's all they want is somebody to talk to.
Yeah,
that's it.
And they can talk to us because they know, like, obviously I'm the VA too because something's happened,
right?
So
because of your knees, because you're old. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, because I'm 90.
Yeah.
So, but you know what I mean? Like it's talking to those guys and hearing their stories and just the stuff that we went through. And I try telling people all the time, like, you really think we had it bad? I was like, try to go talking. One of my favorite things in the military was always doing, as part of 2nd Marine Regiment, when we do Tarawa days.
Okay.
So you had all the vets from Tarawa.
Okay.
That were all these World War II vets. And these guys you want to talk about a hard dude? Oh my God. Like these guys were insane. Yeah. We were out drinking one night and this old man's like, hey, I won the Silver Star. I'm like, how'd you do that? He's like, well, my buddy was on fire, so I peed on him. Like, man, I probably got a nickel for that.
God, my friends never catch on fire. That sucks.
Like, yeah, I'll show you. I'm like, no, but it was just like hearing the guys' stories. Like those guys were that was a generation of just hardened people. Like they were just something else.
It's wild.
And that was I used to love just listening to their stories. Then now it's the Nam guys that are there.
Yeah, because we pretty much lost all of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Korean War vets, we're losing most of those now too.
So. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's fun to see the different. It's interesting to see the different generations because there's no generation that thinks the next generation is as good as them, but that generation thinks they're awesome. So it's just fun to see the military continue to grow. Through all that. All right, let's talk real quick about the future. Our future together, boys. Over the next our goal for this show is to come live every other week on Sunday for the Sunday afternoon special at 3:00 Eastern, 2:00 Central Time. And our goal here today has been a lot more of just like, hey, welcome to the show, meet us, know who we are. But moving forward, say what?
I said, we're back.
We're back. But really the goal is to bring other people in and hear from other people. So we're working on guests right now, a whole line of everybody that you can imagine from training in firearms all the way to outdoor specialists, or survival specialists, anything that you can imagine, former military. And really what we want to do here is we just want to be able to have open conversations with different people from different parts of our world and give them a platform to talk on and to share what they're sharing, but also in that, to really question the things that are going on in the world and be able to have open and honest conversation about that. And I love that. And so, guys, I appreciate you both, taking the time to do this. As always, it's a ton of fun when we get to hang out like this. I hate that you don't live in Tennessee, but I mean,
I'm pretty upset I don't live in Tennessee right now after the gun change.
No kidding, man. We've got nothing on the floor right now that's messing with our guns, so I feel pretty good about Tennessee at the moment. But that can go sideways at any time. So
it can go sideways every 2 years.
Maybe your football team will improve too.
Oh, shut up about the football team. Our football team's great. Thank you so much. We love it. Guys, that's a wrap for us today. We appreciate you. Make sure you're following Creekside Consulting on all the social medias. You're also following True Southern TV. Hit that subscribe button for me yet if you haven't. Right below right there. We'd love to have that. Guys, thank y'all for being here. Truly.
Thank you. Well,
it's been
we will see you very, very soon, my friend.
Yes, we will, and we will announce who we're going to have on for our guests starting next week. So make sure you're following on the social medias for that point right there. And other than that, y'all be good. Y'all go out, find somebody, do something good for them. Let's make the world a better place together. See y'all next time.
Later.